Hey y'all. So it's about 5:30 in the morning. I ain't even brushed my teeth yet, but the Lord told me I had to drop this one. And so I'm here being obedient. So recently I was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and she dropped this incredible nugget of knowledge on me. And it wasn't just any nugget, like it was an anointed nugget, a Chick-fil-A nugget, if you will. And that thing was small but mighty. Like, y'all can miss me with the 8 count or the 12 count. Like, I need a whole 30 piece of this joint. Like, it was something to feast on. And what's crazy is at the time, I didn't even realize what it was. Like, I straight up mistake that joint for a McDonald's or at least a Wendy's spicy, but I had no clue the power of what it was that she was saying to me. God does all things well. That's what she said. She said, God does all things well. It's just 20 letters, it's just 5 words. None of those joints are SAT caliber, but what I thought was a simple affirmation that I was going to put on speed dial and pull up to use, when I need it, was really a direct connection to the source. So today, my question for you guys is, what's in your well? So here we go. Y'all know, well, before I do these videos, I got to do some research. That's the educator in me. So I looked it up, and the adverb well all by itself has 17 different interpretations. In the World English Bible, the word well is used 685 times, and it spans all forms of the word. We've got the comparative adjective that means better, as well as the superlative adjective that means best. And then, of course, we can't forget about the noun, right? We definitely know that in the Bible, we mention the well as a source of water. But because I try to keep these videos at 10 minutes or less, because I know that's your attention span, because it's mine, and this one gonna really be short because, again, it's 5:30 in the morning and my teeth still gotta get brushed. We're just gonna talk about the adverb today. God does all things well. So before we can even begin to unpack the word well, we really got to start with the word all. All, everything. Are we clear? Everything. Every little thing, every big thing, every single thing. That's all right there. And so I'm legit going to read these to you guys because I just want them to sit in your spirit like they sat in my spirit. God does all things in a good and satisfactory way. God does all things in a way that is appropriate to the facts or circumstances. God does all things so that to have a fortunate outcome. God does all things in a kind way. God does all things with praise and approval. God does all things with equanimity. God does all things profitably and advantageously. God does all things in a condition of prosperity or comfort. God does all things opportunely. God does all things in a thorough manner. God does all things to a great extent or degree. God does all things intimately or closely. God does all things extremely. God does all things as an intensifier. God does all things very probably and in all likelihood. God does all things without difficulty. And here's the kicker, y'all. God does all things with good reason. Guys, it ain't nothing else for me to say. That joint preaches itself. Play it back, listen to it again. God does all things well. So when you're thinking about your circumstance and you're thinking about the work that God's doing, what's in your well? Because here's the thing, when God does well the way He does well, and not the way we want Him to do well, will you respond? It is well. That's all I got for y'all today. So remember, God does all things well. This is video number 7, and this is the Survival Guide.